Alright, what's up guys? It's Matt Boosted, and if you're watching this video, you're probably thinking about buying a Corvette, or maybe you're just a fan of Corvettes. Either way, man, you're in the right place. In this video, we're going to talk about the Corvette C6, the base model, the Grand Sport, the Z06, the ZR1. Which one is best for you? Let's talk about it. Alright, right at the top, man, the Corvette C6 came out from 2005 to 2013, and if you're looking at Corvette C6s, the price range is pretty wide, honestly. You can buy a Corvette C6 base model for like $20K, up to a ZR1 for $85,000. Now, the Corvette C6 base model, I think, is going to be the best entry point for a Corvette C6 guy. If you've never owned a Corvette, I think the best model is a great direction to go. The Grand Sport's good too. Let's talk about the base model. Now, like I said, the base model you can get for about $20K, $25K. The base model comes with the LS2 or the LS3, and you can't go wrong either way. If you get the LS2, you're probably going to save about $5,000 compared to LS3. Now, should you get the LS3? Well, that's a good question. A lot of people say you can't really feel the difference between the LS2 and LS3. And you really can't. But the LS3, there's no denying it does make a little bit more power, and especially if you get it with the TR6060, which it comes with, and then you get it in the Grand Sport. So the base model is a really nice way to get into the Corvette. You can make about 400 horsepower stock. You do some mods, you know, NA, you can make about 475 horsepower on the LS2. If you got an LS3, you can make about 500 wheel, full bolt-ons. But either way, a Corvette C6 base model is a really good way to get into a Corvette, and you can get one, like I said, for about $20-25K. Now, for the Corvette C6 Grand Sport, you're going to pay a little bit more, but you get a lot more package. The Corvette C6 Grand Sport, you got the wide body fenders, you got the suspension, you got the brakes. It's basically a Z06 for the most part, except it doesn't have the 7.0 liter engine. But the Grand Sport is a really good looking car, and I'm going to tell you, man, with that LS3, with those wide body fenders, especially for the money, I think that is one of the best bang for the buck Corvette C6s. Now, if you're going to get a Grand Sport, you're going to pay at least 30 up to 35K, most likely, probably around 35, maybe 37, depending on the year that you get. But the Grand Sport, for the price, you're going to get a lot better Corvette than the base model. Now, I've got a base model, so I am biased. I like the base model, but I will say, I wish after having my base model for a couple years now that I would have got the Grand Sport. I would have got the upgraded package. Now, the Grand Sport, like I said, you're going to pay about 30-35K for a base model. You're going to pay somewhere between 20-25K, 27K. You can even get them as cheap as 18, but you're going to pay more for the Grand Sport for sure. Grand Sport's going to have the LS3. It makes good power. You've got the wide body kit. It's a better car than the base model, but it comes with a better price tag. Now, next in line is going to be the iconic Corvette C6 Z06. Now, the Z06, you can't deny that is one of the most iconic Corvettes to ever exist, and it is my favorite Corvette, right next to the ZR1. But the Z06 with that 7.0 liter LS7 is just absolutely sick, man, and you can make a nasty NA car out of that Z06. Now, the Z06, you're going to have the wide body, you're going to have the brakes, you're going to have the suspension, you're going to have the aluminum frame. Now, the downfall about the aluminum frame is that something happens, it can bend a little easier, but you hope you never run into that. But the Z06 is lighter than the Grand Sport and the base model. Now, with the Z06, it's going to be a stick shift. It's going to make the most power, but it's going to be the most maintenance. And when I say the most maintenance, it's not that it's going to cost more every year. The Corvette C6, in terms of maintenance, you're going to have your regular stuff: oil changes, tires, transmission fluid, nothing crazy. That's the good thing. They're super reliable. But if you get the Z06, you're going to need to change the cylinder heads. Go ahead and if you get a Z06, have a couple $1,000s to the side, get you some new cylinder heads. Don't even fix the factory ones, just get some new aftermarket cylinder heads, and that's going to save you a huge headache and save you from potentially dropping a valve and tearing up the engine or whatever down the road. If you followed the Corvette C6 Z06, you've probably heard about the valve drop issue, but it is real. I would replace the heads, but I think the Corvette Z06 is probably one of my favorite Corvette C6s. The downfall is it comes with a higher price tag. Right now, to get a Corvette C6 Z06, you're going to pay 35, 40, 45,000 for one. Now, they're a little pricey, the 7.0 liter, but they are super nice. So I think in terms of price point, Z06 versus Grand Sport, if you got the extra cash, I would go with the Z06. If you're looking at the base model compared to the Grand Sport, if you got the extra cash, I would go Grand Sport. All right, and then last but definitely not least on the list is going to be the Corvette C6, the ZR1, baby. One of the most iconic, maybe the most iconic Corvette ever made, up to this point at least. You know, that new ZR1 come out is pretty sick, but the C6 ZR1, man, I mean, you can't go wrong. You know, you've got the LS9. The engine is basically an LS3. You've got port injection, but size-wise, it's basically an LS3, but you got the supercharger on it. Now, if you take a Corvette C6 Z06 and you do full bolt-ons, you're going to beat the ZR1. But if you take that ZR1 and you port the blower, you do a pulley, maybe do a little fuel system, little, you know, bolt-ons, that ZR1 is definitely going to be the fastest. Now, the ZR1, they're super pricey right now. You can probably find a ZR1 C6, if you get lucky, for around $65K. If you you want something that's a little more rare, like an Arctic White C6 ZR1, you're probably going to pay around $85,000. And that's where it gets difficult, because it's like, man, that's an older car. That's a lot of money for the C6 Corvette. Is it worth paying? Well, to be honest, if you're just getting to the Corvette game, you've never had a Corvette, if you're looking for the absolute top-notch Corvette, you're looking for the iconic Corvette, get a ZR1. But if you're looking just to get in, you want something nice, you can drive on the weekends, have fun with, do some bolt-ons, honestly, the Grand Sport's probably going to be the best car for you. If you're looking for a Corvette just to get in at a cheap price point, get into the Corvette game like I did a couple years ago, get you a base model. If you're the type of guy that wants to turn some wrenches, you like NA power, you want to do full bolt-ons, you want that little extra power without the ZR1 money, get the Z06. So like I said, if it was up to me and I was looking buying a Corvette C6, for me personally, I would probably get the Grand Sport, because I want to put boost on that bad boy. I'm going to do a supercharger, I'm going to do a turbo, I'm going to do twin turbos. If I got the Z06, I'd probably do the same thing, honestly. And if I could go back and do it all over, I would have probably just got the Z06 with the 427, done the heads and call it a day. But if you've got the extra money, if you've got the extra cash, and you want just a piece of Corvette history, I would definitely recommend picking up a C6 ZR1 if you can find one at a decent price. I know I would definitely get one if I had the money. Either way, you can't go wrong. It's a dang Corvette. They're all fun. They all make good power. The base model Corvette's going to make 400 horsepower. The ZR1's going to make 570, and those are bone stock, man. You throw some mods on them, you throw a cam on them, it's really going to open them up. Either way, man, I just want to shoot a quick video talking about the Corvette C6s. Which one should you get? The base model, the Grand Sport, the Z06, the ZR1. They're all great cars. No matter which one you get, you're going to have a blast with it, man. Just make sure you get good maintenance records, make sure it's been taken care of, and then make sure you do the same thing to it. Take care of that bad boy. I appreciate you guys watching. If you're a fan of Corvettes, BMWs, twin turbo Corvettes, make sure you like, subscribe, man. We'll see you guys in the next one.